Tell me please, how are they being perceived by other beings? Do they understand this power or not?
No.
Do they understand that they are being taken apart into components?
They don't understand because they have already been read, and the most optimal and beneficial behavior model had already been chosen.
So they are just playing it dumb, right? To the maximum.
Yes, they are talking about how they have no ambitions. Let's say, to own lands and souls. They specialize in manipulations for which they want to be compensated in the form of energy received from it.
So, in essence, they work for food, correct?
Compared to the demands of greys and reptilians, these ones charge very modestly. But they also benefit controlling greys and reptilians.
As I understand, reptilians and greys have no idea that everything is controlled. That is, they are manipulating people just to appear busy, as I understand, but on the bigger scale, they manipulate entities?
Yes. They take people if a person needs his will to be suppressed, or if someone is a rebel or something else. When someone needs to be constantly kept in a certain emotional environment. This is the type of work they are offered. Making some important decisions. Trigger emotions at the right time and in the right place.
So is this a personal impact?
Yes.
Tell me, if octopuses have anything to do with the appearance of egregore structures on Earth?
No, they have nothing to do with it.
So, it was not their idea?
No.
Okay.
But they have picked it up, brought into bolster. They are working on the energetic plane to improve this egregore technology and have full control over it.
It's just that the first appearance of egregores on Earth correlates with the appearance of octopi according to our findings. Or is it just a coincidence?
They showed up at the same time as the first egregores.
Egregores like mass religions? Okay, tell me please. Global events like wars, worldwide religious movements. Who initiates them? That is, who manages mass?
They are initiated by reptilians to accomplish their goals.
So it was a reptilian idea?
Yes, but OCTOPI were responsible for the details of this implementation. Through the mechanism of egregores, they influence the consciousness of masses. So, in essence, reptilians have an idea, but OCTOPI implement it through influence. They use their services of influence on human consciousness to accomplish their own goals.
I understand.
And since people involved in egregore give away access to themselves, it makes it easy to stimulate or manipulate these people in mass.
Tell me, we have run into the fact that small octopi reproduce inside human bodies. Is this true, and is this a standard technology? Or was it just an experiment? How do they create new ones?
That is one option. This is also possible.
What options are there?
There are options when they reproduce themselves by separating a part of themselves, part of energy. But they rarely use this method because they would have to spend the existing supply of energy. Someone large would have to share.
Meaning, you will, right away, become smaller, and therefore less significant.
Yes, will become smaller in size.
What you are talking about now is a very lucrative technology because the amount of discharged energy by a person can be controlled.
And with this energy, you can create your own kind. This is one of the arrangement options. That is, they ask for permission to sometimes use human energy to replenish their species.
Tell me, please, were they allowed to use the entire territory, or only a special niche? Precisely for reproduction.
They can use it everywhere but in individual cases and not en masse.
We have tracked down the concentration of parasites. Different territories are dominated by different parasites. Just like our area is dominated by reptilians, Arab countries are dominated by octopi, for some reason. Would you be able to understand what this is tied to?
It is related to the mentality and characteristics of people residing in that territory, the specifics of their belief, specifics of their everyday life, climate.
What exactly is important to octopi in those people? Can you understand it? It's just that our people who left Ukraine and moved, they are just as brainwashed as locals. Is it possible to understand, based on what principles they were chosen?
It's simply because the egregore of religion is very common and is a little different from what's in our area. I mean, people are more fanatic and more open for easy access.
So, they are internally ready for it. Well prepared, so to say, right?
Yes.
Okay, you said they don't hide the fact that they have control over all the processes, including the ones of other parasites. Do they have some kind of global objective?
The global objective is survival.
Well, what I mean is, do they lay claim for anything?
They have no ambitions, in the classical sense, as reptilians or greys do. I mean ambitions like to take charge or to rule everybody. Their basic objectives are still in operation, such as governing, influence, control, and adaptation. And this, in essence, is directing their development, rules their life. They retrieve information from the beings they communicate with the utmost speed and precision, and make their decisions with most profitable long-term.
I understand. Tell me please, if there is a most dominating entity, most prevalent as of right now?
There is. But this is, let's say, regional characteristic.
So, they don't perceive themselves as separate creatures, or do they? I want to understand.
This is a single organism, a coherent whole.
Okay. It is a coherent whole. Those who became large and received more energy, do they somehow rise above others? How does this separation happen? I don't quite understand. If it's one program, one organism, what's the point to hold dominant positions?
Dominant positions only occur at the moment when there is a surplus of energy. The creature starts storing this energy. When this separation happened, they understood that increasing the size increases the strength of impact on other beings. This is why, actually, nobody is deciding who should become larger or smaller. Simply put, there was a surplus of energy at that moment which increased the size of this particular specimen.
Tell me if I understand it correctly. Let's take a computer program as an example. You install a program on your computer and I install the same program on my computer. But you have a better computer, and the program works much faster and nimbler. Is that so? Does it depend on the size? Or did I not understand?
No, the program works the same. It's just your computer may emit more energy than mine. This is why your program will be growing, not mine. So, this is the meaning of growth. It's simply the presence of excess energy to avoid immediate reproduction. The way it was before when there wasn't a lot of them. There is no need now to recreate because of excess energy.
То сейчас нет необходимости постоянно на лишней энергии воспроизводить себе подобных.
This is why excess energy is being stored by means of size increase of these specimens.
What I mean is, do they have more influence than the small ones?
Yes, they become more capable.
I understand. Okay. Tell me please, does each individual have access to the information in this space?
Access to information about what?
I mean, do small specimens have the same information about events as large ones?
Do you mean the processes that occur amongst OCTOPI?
Processes occurring amongst octopi, on Earth, plans, ideas, calculations produced by their common system.
The information is the same within the territorial limits of where they are located. For example, if two OCTOPI from two different planets don't communicate, they will not know what is happening on their planets until they establish contact.
This I understand. What about those that share the same space? Are there any differences in information volume between large and small individuals?
No, there is no difference. Specimen size only affects the strength of the influence produced by it. Also, it is used as energy storage to satisfy its needs.
Tell me, do they have any preferences in regards to the quality of energy or emotions produced by a person under their influence? Are there any emotions that they like the best?
I don't see such preferences. Because the emotional part is just coloring. But in fact, it is the same energy released into the surrounding space.
It does not matter.
No. What is of the utmost importance to them is how to affect living beings without being exposed. Their ultimate goal is to stay unnoticed, to stay maximally in shade.
As far as I understand, they interact with a person directly without using any additional implants or devices.
No, they interact at the field level.
Okay. Tell me please, do they have such a concept as life expectancy?
No.
So, an individual created by the system lives for eternity, right?
Yes, while it has food.
What happens to it if there is no food?
It dies. It's kind of like a battery. As long as you have a battery, your watch works. Battery dies, your watch stops. What I see is that they become smaller from the lack of energy. They turn into something like skin left after a shedding snake.
So some sort of empty casing?
Yes.
So they disconnect from the system the same way when they left that humanoid planet. The main information was left with those who survived. The program went with them and the rest unnecessary was removed. So, in essence, this program can both expand and contract depending on the need.
Да, это просто
Yes,
как
this is simply a survivor algorithm and already accumulated experience.
накопленный опыт уже.
I see. Tell me please, if representatives of this kind will not intersect for a billion years, will they develop differently and have a different informational base?
Да, да.
Yes.
If, for example, we remove all of the existing octopi and replace them with a new one from a different planet, would he have to start from scratch?
Но
Well,
исходя из
based on its
своего
experience, yes.
своего опыта, да.
I understand.
They are in a constant state of calculation and analysis of all the beings they are interacting with.
Всех существ, с которыми они взаимодействуют.
As they receive information, they are constantly changing, analyzing, processing and adapting algorithms. This is how cumulative experiences are processed.
Now I understand. Okay, tell me, these creatures, octopi, we saw their personal planet which they rule and feed off. We even saw a planet that was encircled by a giant octopus. Do they somehow seek to gain complete control over a planet? Or they don't care if they have to work with reptilians, with greys? Are they fine no matter where they are?
There is no goal to seize control. There is a goal to fulfill a basic program, to adapt and to stay alive. They simply realized from the experience of their maternal planet that full control and dominance over beings will not end well.
Полный контроль и доминация над существами, она как бы, ни к чему хорошему не приводит.
Which planet do you call maternal, a planet where they were created?
Yes.
I understand it was the first planet where they lived.
Yes, the first one.
I just want to reiterate it so everybody understands.
Yes, first planet.
Okay, can you understand what methods they use to control consciousness? What is the technology of consciousness control?
Only the minds of those who give away access to themselves are being controlled. Usually, it is done through egregor or by means of other attachments that are owned by reptilians or greys or some other creatures. They control consciousness by working with the field of a person. I see it like, I receive images of those creatures from the first planet, representatives of fauna, and how they were feeding. Basically, they attach themselves to the field and produce impulses, kind of contractions. Well, I don't know how to call it, vibrations, impulses.
Do they somehow synchronize with the field and start changing its content?
Yes.
Information?
They do a complete reading of the field and establish the most optimal way to manipulate and through what means, be it fear, euphoria, or joy. These impulses make corrections to the human field which in turn changes its structure and frequency, so to speak.
So it adjusts itself, yes?
Yes, it's a good analogy. An adjustment takes place. In essence, they assign impulses and the membrane rearranges itself.
Tell me please if there are any physical signs of octopus manipulations? Can a person detect if his field being reconstructed or he is being manipulated?
Well, we can only compare his condition. If a person was very calm most of his life and now he is euphoric or acting unusually, when his behavior differs drastically, there is a dramatic change. Or existing behavior exacerbates or some distortions start happening. when joy becomes euphoria or hysteria, or the other way when calm demeanor becomes depression. When a person makes unusual to him decisions uncharacteristic of his nature. I see there are cases when they request to suppress human will or break it. Under the continuous and aggressive manipulation, the field changes so that it leads to either irreversible psychiatric disease or other health abnormalities, and the person is no longer able to restore the original condition. Each one of our fields has its own frequency, a frequency it operates with, so to speak. And with their interference, the frequency, the structure, and the quality of the field changes, as well as the personality.
Yes, I understand what you are saying.